Hey there guys, this is Sam.
And Justin.
At the Survival Review. And it's weird having me back here, but...
It's been a while. But
it has been a little while. But...
This is Sam.
This is me.
He is part of the channel.
I think I made some videos at some point on here.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
But it's an interesting experience to be back here. And today we're going to be talking about Captain America: Civil War.
Yes, so this is going to be a spoiler-free review.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a spoiler-filled discussion where we just talk about everything about the movie.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be the video to watch because there's a lot to talk about there.
But
so,
as it goes, as this movie, this is the 12th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Which is just wild. It's crazy how many they've made, and
it's one of the best.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
It's awesome.
It's really quite good.
I love it.
I was hyped up for this one, and I don't get hyped up for a lot of Marvel movies as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But this one was good. They did a really good job with it, and that's saying a lot for a movie that's following up Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Which is both of our probably favorite Marvel movies.
It's my favorite Marvel movie.
I would say it's probably my favorite too.
That was the one thing. The only kind of concern going into this movie was that this movie's Civil War. It's about Iron Man, all these superheroes, and you're like, but I wanted a Captain America sequel. I wanted a sequel to Winter Soldier. Are we gonna get that? And we do. We do. This movie, at the forefront, is a sequel to Winter Soldier. Yeah. Which made me so happy.
Same here. I thought it was going to be another Avengers movie, and it was. It was kind of.
Not really, though, because a lot of the Avengers you see in the movie are mostly in there for one scene.
That's true.
One big sequence.
That is true.
Which we'll get to that in a little bit.
But like he said, at the forefront, it is a Captain America.
Yes. He is the main character. Tony Stark is actually a supporting player in this movie, and that's just awesome. Yeah. So, the plot of this movie, after the events of both Avengers movies and The Winter Soldier, people are realizing that superheroes kind of cause damage.
Really?
Which they don't realize in DC movies, but they do in these ones.
Not at all. But they actually reference the fact that they've destroyed cities.
Yeah. and then also there's one event in kind of the opening action scene in this movie that also leads to this. Exactly. And they want to put together this bill where it's all these superheroes have to sign up, and they are basically part of the government. They're
going to be sort of restricted on what they can do. Yeah. And maybe not cause so much damage.
Yeah. And there's some heroes that like this, like Iron Man and War Machine and Black Widow and Vision. And some heroes that don't like this, like Captain America, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch. And they kind of clash.
It leads to a bit of conflict.
Yes. And in the process, we do get the return of the Winter Soldier, who gets thrown back into the story.
Yeah, and it was also a very big part of why there was a lot of conflict.
And basically, that's a simple gist of the plot. This movie's, a lot happens.
Yeah, there's quite a bit going on in this one. It's a pretty long movie for a Marvel movie.
It's actually the longest Marvel movie. Yeah. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes. And it doesn't feel messy. No. That's one of the best things about this movie.
Not at all. It was just really well put together and well thought out. I mean, there are some minor little plot holes.
There's a few minor issues I have with this movie. Nothing insanely major. Exactly. But little issues. I guess you want to just discuss the little issues. My issues is that one of the small things is just that this movie has so much going on that it's one of those movies where you're over a half hour in and you feel like it's still just getting started. And it's not really an issue, but it's kind of one of the things where it feels weird that you're so far into it, but we're still introducing characters.
Exactly. There's so many characters in this one, and new characters. Yeah. I mean, you have SpiderMan and
Black Panther.
Yeah, you have these new characters that are being introduced in a series where there are already so many characters involved. Where it's just you're really. I'm not saying pushing it because they did a really good job with it. It's just there's a lot to handle in this. Yeah,
and then there is actually a villain in the movie, which the trailers never really showed. But there actually is a villain to the film, and he's okay.
He's alright.
There's some aspects of him that I like. I like the idea that the villain is not a big superpower villain. He's just a guy.
He's just a dude who was kind of on a revenge mission. Yeah. And
but he didn't really feel too necessary in the movie.
Not really. He kind of instigated a little bit of. Yeah. I mean, instigated a lot of the conflict. Yeah. But
and there's a few plot conventions with this character, too. They're kind of just I don't see how that would really happen or how that would work out. Yeah. And so he was the weak part, which is kind of a typical Marvel thing, to have the weak villains. So it's not really too surprising. But that's not the actor's fault. The actor who plays him, I don't know his name, but he's an awesome actor.
Yeah, he did a very good job of it.
Yeah, he's from Inglourious Basterds. Yeah. That's what we mostly know him from. And he did really good. He was really good in the movie, but he just didn't really feel too necessary in the scheme of things. And there's some dodgy CGI.
A little
mostly
bit.
with the CGI people.
Exactly. Like there's one shot that got to me that was Captain America jumping off a building and rolling, and it didn't look good, but it's definitely forgivable.
Or there's a chase scene where Black Panther is chasing Winter Soldier, and every time he's like jumping around, it looked very CGI-ish and cartoonish. And then SpiderMan did feel a lot very CGI at times, even when he was just standing there.
Yeah,
too. Not just of course the action scenes would feel CGI, but when he was just standing there, he felt CGI, and that kind of took me out a little bit. So that's basically it for like the major flaws.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about him too much until we get to the spoiler video, but yes, Spider-Man is in the movie.
Yeah, which was known from the trailer, so it's not like we're spoiling anything there. But
he's great. He's only in the movie for like 20 minutes, but like. He's great.
But every minute he's there, he's fantastic.
Yes.
Like, I really, really like this guy.
Yes. I love how he's a teenager. He's a kid. And
which is something they finally... I mean, they did okay with that with Andrew Garfield, but like
he was
obviously,
in high school, but he didn't feel like he was a high schooler.
He didn't feel like a high schooler. He felt like a 20-some-year-old. Just like, I mean, Tobey Maguire was.
Yeah.
He's like in his 30s.
But at least he went to college in the second movie.
Yeah. At least he went to college.
This one, he feels like a kid. And there's a lot of moments in there where he's just like acting like a kid, like in the middle of this big battle, and like it's great.
It was really, I liked that a lot.
Yes, yes, and then Black Panther is the other big like new character in the movie, and he's in it a lot more than I expected.
Same here. I didn't think he was going to be as major like of a role. Like he played a pretty important role in this.
He was a main character really in the movie. He was essential to the plot of the film, and that was really interesting. And I like him. Yeah, Black Panther is awesome. I love how he's very no nonsense. Like he's just like he doesn't quip at all.
No,
the scene where Hawkeye's just like, I'm Clint. And he just goes, I don't care. And just starts fighting him. That was the best. I like his character. He's just very no-nonsense, just like to the point.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then the best scene in the movie, the airport fights.
Yep. It's just absolutely wild.
One of the best scenes in a comic book movie ever.
Honestly, as far as Marvel movies goes, this is one of the best fight scenes in all of them, if not probably my favorite.
Yeah, and I would actually go so far as to say it might be one of the best action sequences like put to film, just because of how every character is essential in it. Every character gets a chance to shine. Every character gets their moment. The scene goes on for a while, and it's engaging the entire time.
Yeah, which is really tough to do with that many characters being involved. I mean, you would think that with, you know, the over a dozen characters probably, like 10 or so maybe, you would feel like some of them are not being incorporated very much, or some are being incorporated way too much.
Yeah.
It was all pretty even ground.
It was perfectly balanced. Yeah. And that's why I think it might be one of the best action sequences, just because of how perfectly it was put together and how engaging it was for the entire time. There's so many just memorable moments that we can't talk about right now until we get to spoilers.
Yeah.
But that was like the standout scene of that film. And definitely like one of the best moments in a movie in a long time. And like it was great.
For sure.
And the conflict between Captain America and Iron Man was so fleshed out and developed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be comparing it to this movie because they are really different and stuff like that. But compared to Batman vs. Superman, where when Batman and Superman fought, that action sequence is awesome. And I really like it, but it's just a spectacle because their motivations were so out there. Batman's like, I don't like you, you're an alien. Superman's like, I don't like you, you're a vigilante. So you didn't care. With this, yeah, you're a little bit biased because you've been with these characters for a lot longer. But even if you're going into this movie without seeing any other movies, you would still understand each other's points. And so you were more emotionally invested in these fights.
Yeah.
When they're with the big climactic fight scene between Captain America and Iron Man, you're just like on the edge of your seat and you're like, I don't know who to root for because both of them make good points. Both of them, like, none of them are like villains. Neither of them are like villains.
Nobody's a bad guy as far as those two. I mean, there's a villain, but neither of them are bad guys because they both have legitimate reasons as to why they want to fight each other.
Yeah, and they all make sense to you. Like, they all make sense, and I like that. And I like how, like, you got clear motivations of why they're going at it. Even these characters who, like, yeah, they've had their differences in the past, they're still pretty much friends. throughout the series, but you can buy why they're fighting each other. I like the use of Tony Stark in this movie because for like the first half of the movie, he is serious.
Yep.
A good way to actually describe the most of this movie is serious, not dark and gritty. There's a difference. I mean, like serious. There's actual stakes in this movie, and Tony Stark wasn't the usual quipping, joking stuff. He has those moments throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But for the first half, it was very serious, and I really liked that take on Tony Stark and him being like the supporting player of this movie. I thought that was just very unique, and of course Robert Downey Jr. is great. You don't really need to say that, but like,
he's normally this really sarcastic, just always joking kind of guy.
Yeah.
And in this, he shows a lot of emotion in this movie. He has a lot of they kind of get into the backstory of like his parents and things like that, and we'll get more into that in the next video. But he was just really, really good, and the character was used really well in this.
Exactly, and I just thought that was really interesting. Again, the serious tone in this movie, it still is in line with the other Marvel movies. It's still fun and jokey, but it has a more like serious, like down-to-earth tone that I really liked. So, out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm going to give the movie 8.75 because I'm indecisive. I don't know. I thought it was really good. Maybe I'm starting to get burnt out on Marvel movies, but like I think as far as Marvel movies goes, this it's up there. So I'm gonna stick with what I said, 8.75.
I'm gonna go 9. I think as of right now, it's under Winter Soldier. It's not as great as Winter Soldier, but it's close. Yeah, like it's still a great movie. So I'm gonna go 9 because like I gave Winter Soldier like a 9.5. So this would be like a 9, like right under it. Definitely one of the top Marvel movies.
Yeah, definitely. And so until next time, where we're going to be talking about a lot of the spoilers in the movie, and there's quite a bit to talk about there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's about all for this video, and we'll see you guys then.